So you want to be a meteorologist in New England. Let's talk about what makes a snow forecast. And here we go. Think about like planning a big Thanksgiving dinner, right? You got friends and family coming in all across the country. And well, what if someone's supposed to bring a 10-pound bird or a 15-pound bird and they only bring a 5-pound bird, right? So think about moisture in the atmosphere. What if we only get a quarter of an inch of precip? The storm goes out to sea or offshore versus a half inch of precip or an inch of precip, right? So you didn't get that big turkey you expected. So that's one factor, one variable, and that goes into that forecast. So let's talk about probability here. The National Weather Service in Maine has 1 to 2 inches as a 90% probability. So that's almost certain that that's going to happen. But look here at the 10% probability of 10, 11, 12 inches. That's a wide range of probability this close to a storm that's going to be happening. So the official forecast is obviously somewhere in between there. The National Weather Service applies their experience, and they're going to put a bullseye right now over down east. So I'll talk about the two big players here for weather forecasting, the GFS and the European. The GFS has a tight cluster right there in the Gulf of Maine. So that's more moisture and enough cold air coming in from that polar vortex to the north. You get a lot of snow. The European does not have a tight cluster in the Gulf of Maine. It's far offshore, and it's almost an out-to-sea track, so you don't get as much moisture. So that's more like that 5-pound turkey instead of the 15-pound bird, right? Less precip. So I want to show you here, let me get rid of my face, and show you the difference. The GFS with that cluster in the Gulf of Maine where that low would form has more moisture, and it's a cold storm, and you've got plenty of moisture getting thrown over that cold air. The European, it's offshore. Look where that X is. Look at the difference. Same computer model run, same time frame. The European is far offshore. There's less moisture. The storm also doesn't phase or combine with energy, and you just get a weaker storm. You get a near miss, a glancing blow. The GFS, though, with that storm in the Gulf of Maine, with the cold air, with that big 15-pound bird, you've got almost a nor'easter minus the real strong wind, right? You got close to a foot of snow. The European, with that near miss, you get decent snow liquid ratios, 10, 12 to 1. So you're going to get that 4, 5, 6 inches, but you're not going to get that close to a foot. So that's what comes into it. You look at here, the HRRR, just another high-res computer model. Doesn't mean it's more accurate, but you see here in the Gulf of Maine, and that's some heavy snow bands coming through. So there's a lot that goes into a snow forecast in Maine, in New England this time of the year. There are a lot of variables that come into the factor. So like planning that Thanksgiving dinner, is that big bird coming in from Minnesota? You're getting that big turkey or not? Is the storm going to hug the coast? Is it going to be an inland runner? Is it going to be well offshore, right? And this close to a storm starting to happen really about 24, 36 hours out, there's generally a consensus, and there isn't one right now. So that's why you're going to see a wide range of forecasts from local TV stations, the National Weather Service. But right now, I have upped my totals because I do feel and I am confident enough that we're going to get that 4 to 8 inches for most of Maine. More updates coming on NappyCast and JasonNappyWeather.com.